Hi everyone. By now, we are all cognizant of the issues facing us and therefore recognizes there is a problem that needs to be solved. First and foremost, I will humbly suggest we stop politicizing religion. Yes. We stop politicizing religion and take religion, as in remove religion, from our politics and institutions. For religion is a major problem dividing us in Nigeria and Africa at large. The belief that one religion is real and all others are fake and evil is a disease that has landed Nigeria in the intensive unit that she finds herself in today. Especially Muslims and Christians who continuously fight to prove whose God is more powerful, more authentic, and superior than the others. And as a person, you dare not voice your opinion, thoughts, or notions about these two religions, or else you will be shamed into hiding and seen as evil. You can even be punished severely or even killed for saying anything against these two religions. And proving this so-called superiority and allegiance to this religion, the Muslims, for example, have butchered and slaughtered thousands of Christians in Nigeria. Fulani henchmen killing citizens and beheading them. Boko Haram bombing, killing, and kidnapping people. Other tribes are given ultimatum by northern youths to leave the northern parts of Nigeria. Our president addresses the nation from London in Hausa language, which is kind of synonymous to Islamic religion in Nigeria. And now there is this debate to make these two religions compulsory in our schools without respecting those who do not believe in this religion or practice them. Why child marriages is still so rampant in the north, as baby girls of between the ages of 8 years old to 15 years are given into marriages to men as old as their great grandfather. And all these atrocities are all embedded in religious beliefs and fanaticism. Again, more than 60% of our lawmakers in the judiciary, or let's say in the Senate, are all northerners, if I'm not mistaken, and who happen to enact laws that uphold the Quran and Islamic ideologies. Why the Christians, on the other hand, have so confused the entire population with their pastor perennials and prophets of doom doctrines of Tifri, propagated with the name of Jesus. Yes. In short, my next video is going to talk about the Christian aspect of it. So I reserve my comments about them for now. Religion controls and runs the affairs of our society to the extent people have lost their sense of reasoning and self-purpose. And now to gauge that superiority, Christians and Muslims are proposing these religions be made compulsory in our school curriculum, when majority of our children don't even know their history or how Africa came into existence, and yet religion is our major goal. We are prioritizing religion. Muslims wants to Islamize us in one hand, and the Christians in the other hand wants to Christianize us all. What Nigerians need now is to train and employ more science teachers to prepare our children towards nation building, scientific discoveries, and technological development. And also to employ history teachers to teach our children and youth their history in order for them to know themselves and their self-purpose. The worst part of it all is that all the looters and criminals who have been looting us dry since 1960, when we had our independence, they all usually swear by these two foreign religions to uphold the Constitution and better Nigeria. But behold, we are being enslaved, nutritiously starved, impoverished, denied our basic human rights and necessities of life. Our God-given right has been taken from us by force. And guess what? Our leaders are either Muslim or Christians. And yet, our children are starving to death in our cities and villages. Our brothers and sisters die in droves in the Mediterranean Sea, running away from home and trying to cross into Europe to look for a better life. Due to the hardship they have been subjected to by leaders who have mismanaged our resources. Our people have been bought allegedly as slaves in Libya, and nothing, absolutely nothing is done about it. Our sisters subjected as sex slaves and sex workers that glitters the streets of the West. And yet, our leaders are silent. Brothers serving long jail terms in Asia, and organs allegedly harvested from our people in Malaysia, and no help or attention from our leaders. We are all being beaten black and blue in every nook and cranny of the world, and yet all our leaders do is to continue stealing and looting the national treasury dry. And even when our people, for example, are being repatriated from the diaspora or sent back to Africa for things as little as not having the right documentation to live in the West. They prefer to serve prison terms here or die instead of returning back home, because there is no Africa to come back to or Nigeria to fall back to for help, as they fear the poverty that awaits them back home will be unbearably horrific. Yes. There is videos everywhere in the social media when people are being repatriated. We are the only people who cry to return back home. When returning back home is supposed to be something of joy. What a shame. Our leaders are sworn into office officially with either of these two religions. And yet, we wonder how a Muslim or Christian can be so wicked and heartless to his own people by enriching themselves and leaving the poor and the masses to starve to death. And these leaders keep getting away with all the atrocities they inflict on their own citizens. These two religions have done nothing but cause chronic havoc in our way of thinking and how we live together as human beings. The mineral resources that is being siphoned by our leaders for self-enrichment was already there in our lands before these two religions were imposed on us by foreign invaders. Our ancestors were already blessed as a people before all this so-called religion. The most surprising of it all is that our lawmakers, who are educated or supposedly educated, which means they are very much aware of how these two religions came into our lives, and yet they continue to uphold colonial religions and colonial constructs and still nationalize them in our institutions by using them to uphold the status quo. Why? And as a matter of fact, both religions are embedded in stealing, killings, looting, enslavement, and genocides, all in the name of Islam and Christianity. And yet, we wonder why things are stagnant and why our leaders steal freely without control or accountability or punishment. As a believer in God myself, I wonder what kind of God do these leaders serve or worship that allows them to inflict pains on their own citizens without remorse? Africa, Christianity, and Islam are not the tradition or religion of our forefathers. They were imposed on us, impose on Africa to rule Africans and to steal Africa of its God-given wealth and natural resources. Therefore, it is time to use African gods to uphold the Constitution if it is so important to swear someone into office with a religion. So please bring in the smaller gods into the affairs of our people at Aso Rock. The gods of our ancestors swear these corrupt, good-for-nothing leaders presiding over us with Ogun, Shango, and others alike, and see how misbehaviors will begin to correct themselves without you flexing a muscle or having to protest because the last time I checked, people still fear and